Dear friends, dear brothers, dear loved ones, let us talk frankly and be genuine. The world is a nightmare and a wasteland. It's just how it is. But God gave us beauty. It's within us, and we need to uphold it and push it into the world by spreading gospel, by spreading the good word. The good word is in our heart. A lot of people get that good word in their heart from a book, but the good word is in our heart. And we live it, and we make the world better. Our world, the world that God gave us, not the corrupted world. These are not mutually exclusive. So we must learn to navigate this corrupt world. We must learn Kung Fu, Neo. And Kung Fu, as I understand it, is like mastery of conflict. Now, conflict can be a very big word. Conflict internally, conflict of the soul, of the spirit, of the conscience, conflict of neighbors, conflict of nations, conflict of economy, So, Kung Fu, my definition, the one I'm talking about, is how do we navigate all things in life that do upset us? Well, I love it. Because in the different forms of martial arts, there's different objectives. There is no perfect form. People tried their whole lives to come up with a perfect form, and if the guy did, he transformed into electricity and disappeared, okay? So there's no such thing as perfect kung fu. As a matter of fact, the closest you will ever get to perfect kung fu is to realize that there is no perfect kung fu, and that the point is actually just to develop towards the infinite. Because by focusing on your task and making yourself about that improvement, you transcend and move beyond these limitations that you'd have otherwise. So, purpose is in itself. Got it? Okay. So we have to develop Kung Fu. Sometimes when a thing comes at us, it's best to simply move out of the way. Maybe it's good to use that force against itself. Maybe sometimes you need to take the hit and turn the other cheek. If I respect, and respect means to treat as should be treated, if I respect my enemy, then my Kung Fu should first disarm them so that they cannot harm. And then it should be to subdue so they cannot advance. And then it should be to educate. And if education does not take hold, well, like I said, there's many different forms of Kung Fu. Now things happen to us and they knock us off balance. And as there's no perfect form of Kung Fu, then we have to expect to stumble from time to time. And we must remain fluid. It is not wise to put all of your energy against a wall. And it's not wise to spend all the energy you have before you're even close to the finish line. And it's not wise to pick from trees that bear no fruit, or to rescue the dead. Practice Kung Fu. You worry about the next generation, you worry about each other, you worry about the future of the race, you worry. Well, at the center of my grounding principles, at the core of my Kung Fu, is my faith that this has already been figured out. I just need to submit my will to the greater plan. And then the rest could be considered a game. Because God will deliver me wherever I need to go and have me to do whatever it is I am meant to do. But why should I not practice my Kung Fu in the meantime? Now, back to respect. If I see an ally, a brother, a friend, and they are struggling, but not so much struggling to lift their sword, but they're struggling to know which way to charge. Do I kill that one? No. Do I disarm him? Not if we're in the middle of combat. But do I try to right him forward, or at least let him to recognize who it is that he's going against? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Because I have too much time. I'm spending too much of my time practicing my kung fu on these evil bastards, and not enough time to get the guys that are confused facing the right way. Because they're not my enemy, but they're not exactly my battle buddy at that moment either. And so I would simply try to stun them and then educate them as quick as I am able, because it is not a career. Of course, practice your kung fu, practice your balance, practice picking your battles, practice remembering what you fight for. If somebody moves you off of your foundation, the rest of your moves don't matter. You've already lost. It's not about keeping score. It's not about winning the belt or the purse or the prize or whatever. It's about practicing that kung fu for your foundation. My foundation's God, and all of the progress that I make, my skill that I develop. Thanks, God. Thank you very much. Don't fight yourself. Don't punch sand. Don't make enemies of your friends. Try to make friends of your enemies. Remember, you're fighting for what you love. You couldn't hate unless you loved something first. Stay strong. You're not alone. You are not abandoned. Things are going to get really wild soon. Enjoy the ride, and remember who you are and why you're here. You are love.